everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be taking you to the eastern part of Nigeria and we are making bitter leaf soup, aka Ofe Onugbu. If you haven't tried the soup before, oh my god, you have to give it a try. It is so tasty, really easy, and it is also medicinal. So if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Now let's get straight into showing you how to make this yummy pot of bitter leaf soup. I'll put you through all the ingredients we need for this soup. The first thing is the protein. I'm using cow leg. You can use any kind of protein you want, beef, intestine. But I feel this recipe doesn't go well with chicken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm also going to be using some smoked fish. This is called banla fish. Really, really flavorful. And next ingredient I'll be using is cow skin. By now, you guys should know that I love my pomo. And pomo is really good in ofe onugbu. Some smoked prawns. For this recipe, you're going to be needing a thickener. This is my cocoyam that I already boiled and peeled. Now you can also use achi, you can use your cocoyam powder, whatever thickener you have available, go ahead to use it. In this recipe, I'm going to be using two thickeners, and that's because something happened which I'll tell you guys about later, and I'll also show you the other thickener that I'm using. And then stockfish, this is a must have. The flavor you get from this, there is no bitter leaf soup without stockfish. I'm sorry. I'm using the fillet. You can use any part of stockfish that you have. Then this is the yellow pepper. This has flavor that it adds to the dish. Palm oil, of course. Crayfish powder. This is really important. The flavor you get, it is important, except you don't like crayfish. And then Cameroon pepper because I want more heat and I also like the bit of flavor this adds. This is called ogirigo and it adds an amazing flavor to Ofe Onugbu. You need to add this, even though it doesn't smell really good, but you need to add it. Some salt, and then for seasoning, I'm going to be using beef seasoning cube by Knorr and Maggi Niger pot. This is not sponsored, by the way. You guys need to come and sponsor me. Lastly, bitter leaf. What is bitter leaf soup without bitter leaf? And there are two types: the short one and the long one. I like to use the short one, and this is already washed, but I'm going to wash it again. Now let's start cooking. The first thing you want to do is to boil your protein, and this is because we're going to be using the water or the stock from the protein. That's what we are going to use to cook the soup. So it is really important that you get a flavorful and delicious base. Go ahead to season with your salt and seasoning cube. I'm using beef seasoning cube because it will enhance the taste. Cover and allow this cook. Next, I'm going to go ahead to wash my bitter leaf. Like I said earlier, it's already washed, but I'm going to wash it again because it is bitter leaf. And you want to wash out as much bitterness as you can so that your dish doesn't taste some kind of way. You know, bitter leaf tastes sweet at the end, but you just want to wash as much bitterness as you can so that your soup is not bitter. Do you understand what I mean? Growing up, I did not explore a lot of other soups from other tribes. I was stuck to my own kind of soup, and I'm a Yoruba girl, by the way. So I grew up eating things like ewedu, egusi, okro, and all of that. But when I grew up and I actually found interest in cooking, I decided to explore other tribes. And I must say, the eastern part of Nigeria, their soups are amazing. I totally love them. They have become one of my favorite things to make and I just give kudos to them. It's important that as Nigerians, we are open to trying meals and dishes from other tribes and other cultures because there's just so much beauty in the diversity of our meals, of our dishes, of our culture. So it's really something that you need to be open to. If you haven't started to try other recipes or try recipes from other tribes or try their dishes, I think you should really embrace it. So into my cow skin, I added the pomo and then the stockfish. Once your protein is fully cooked, you're going to add in your prawns and then go in with your fish. You don't want to add the fish, at the early stage so that it doesn't break too much. Even though the fish is still going to break later. Now you're going to add in the yellow pepper and then you're going to add ogiri. You guys, I'm going to melt my ogiri in water or I'm going to dissolve my ogiri in water, dissolve it properly and then add it. This doesn't smell good, but for some reason, the aroma it gives to the dish is very distinct. You will know when you smell the aroma. Add in a lot of crayfish. Be generous with your crayfish. Now you're going to add your palm oil and then you want to combine this together. Once everything has combined together, they've married each other properly. Now, this is the time you want to taste if your seasoning is fine. If you need more salt or more seasoning powder, or all of that. For me, it needed a little bit more seasoning powder. So I added one more Niger pot. I also added some more water. It was looking like there's not enough space in the pot anymore because there's a lot of obstructions going on here. So I added some water just to loosen it up and free the pot a little bit. At this point, I'm going to be adding my Cameroon pepper. I did not add it earlier because I wanted to be sure of the amount of heat I got from that fresh pepper. At this point, I'm going to taste again to be sure that everything is fine. And, because we are approaching the end of the cooking process, and I just want to make sure that it is well seasoned. Let me know in the comment section, do you taste while you're cooking or you just cook without tasting? So now I'm going to add my cocoyam. This is the thickener. The gist I said I was going to tell you guys, the cocoyam I bought, 80% of them were bad. And cocoyam is the thickener for the soup. So if you don't have enough cocoyam, then your soup will not be thick. However, I heard some people like their soup quite runny. That's not me. I want it to be thick. So luckily, I had achi in the house. Achi is also a thickener. It's in a powdery form. I'll show you guys later on. This is the point where you add your thickener. After adding your cocoyam, you do not want to stir this. Allow it dissolve in the pot. Just cover it and it's going to dissolve on its own. If I did not mention, I blended my bought cocoyam into this paste form. So all you have to do is just blend it and then you get this paste form of the cocoyam. Now, after dissolving, this is what my soup looks like. It is not thick yet, as you can see. It's still runny. I'm going to go ahead to add in my achi, and the achi thickens your soup almost immediately. I think it does a faster job. However, some people from the eastern part say that the cocoyam actually gives flavor to the dish. I'm not very sure. I've tried achi, I've tried cocoyam. They both taste good, but I think that's their culture. So adding your achi and then combine together and leave it for a few minutes and your soup is already going to start to thicken. After a few minutes, your soup is already thick and this is what it looks. If the soup gets too thick for you, you can just add more water and it's going to loosen up a bit. But this consistency is perfect for me. And once again, I am tasting to be sure that everything tastes good. At this point, if everything is fine, then you can go ahead to add in your bitter leaf. You can add in your bitter leaf gradually so that you don't add too much. I'm going to add in the bitter leaf and then give this a really good mix. Combine everything together properly. And now our soup is ready. But as my signature step, I always like to add crayfish at the end. This is just like an icing on top of the cake. It enhances and brings out more flavor from your dish. So if you don't do this, you should really try it. I'm sure you're going to love it. So I added the rest of my crayfish powder and then I'll give this a really good mix. Allow it to simmer on medium to low heat. And your yummy pot of bitter leaf soup is ready. your bitter leaf soup simmer for a few minutes, and that's it, guys. Enjoy your yummy pot of bitter leaf soup. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? Press that red button down below and hit the subscribe button. Like this video as well. Let me know in the comment section, do you like any meal from any other tribe besides yours in Nigeria? And let me know what dish it is that you like. Bitter leaf soup goes well with semovita, with yellow gari, with pounded yam. Anyone you want to enjoy it with, it goes perfectly with it. The soup is so delicious. I'm sure you're going to love it. I'm having mine with pounded yam, and it was an absolute delight. Guys, let me know in the comment section if you have any meal or dish that you love from other tribes in your country. Drop the name in the comment section and where it's from, and I could just try it. Thank you guys once again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Let me just go and enjoy my yummy plate of pounded yam and ofe onugbu. Bye.